Morning peeps, I'm back on my own couch. And if you watch my walking video in Wellington the other day, Wellington, you will have realised it was quite good, wasn't it? I think, I put a lot of effort into that, walking around Wellington, trying to talk about FPL. And it's actually very difficult. I didn't realise how hard those walking videos are because you're kind of looking around to see what's happening, while at the same time you have to be talking about FPL. And it's quite difficult to combine the two, because I keep looking for distractions that I can bring into the video, to make it interesting. But I enjoyed all that, peeps. I enjoyed my stay in Wellington. But chess was pretty awful the first 2 days. I hadn't played a tournament for 6 months. So I was pretty rusty and my brain just wasn't working. It felt like, sometimes when you get out of bed for the first hour or so and you might have like a foggy head. Well, it just felt like that the whole time. I couldn't plan anything. Like I couldn't think 2 moves ahead. But then yesterday, it was like my brain went crystal clear. I could see everything. I was playing like 8, 9 move combinations and I wasn't miscalculating. Everything was working great. And I won 2 games yesterday, both my games. So I ended up on 4 out of 6, which isn't terrible. But I drew with a couple of people that I normally beat, and I lost to some little Indian kid who, to be fair, is a very good player. But yesterday's games kind of made up for it. Sparkling attacking displays, peeps. Very good, very good. Anyway, game week's halfway through. Forest game just finished, and of course, people that own Forest defenders, bad luck because they conceded late, just like West Ham and just like everyone else in FPL when you're expecting something good to happen and your hopes are dashed. Like we will have a look and I'll show you something funny later on Reddit about Arsenal. So I watched Steve-O's show yesterday, actually, his reaction video, and the look on his face, because he didn't know the scores. He noticed that Arsenal had won 4-0 and was all happy until he looked at the details and saw that Saka hadn't done anything and only ended up with 1 point. So I felt for him. I felt for everybody that owned Saka, who captained Saka, to be honest. But I was kind of pleased because I don't captain him. But at the same time, you've got a bit of empathy because you know that it happens to all of us, doesn't it? It happens to all of us. It's bloody annoying. Like my bench boost. Look, Martinez 2, Isaac 2, Wan-Bissaka nil, Livramento nil. 4 points. Only positive is I have Martinez still to play, but that's not going to help me because people that don't have Martinez have Consa and I don't. So it's not going to, even if he keeps a clean sheet, it's not really going to help me. But unlike other people, or some other people, I did not plough huge resources into my bench boost. I was quite happy to do a minimum bench boost, and if it didn't work, it didn't work, So I'm not the only one. It's been pretty underwhelming for a lot of people, and so it's just the way it is. I mean, I could have thrown hits at it when I found out Wan-Bissaka was a doubt, or I could have taken out Livramento or something, but I couldn't be bothered, and I probably wouldn't have been any better off if I had done that, to be honest. The transfers I've made worked well. I bought in Kirill, 6 points already. I bought in Saka, didn't work out so well, but that's just luck. Just luck, peeps, It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And the other one was to bring in Rodgers for Murphy. Murphy blanked and Rodgers on 6 points already. So my transfers worked, so I couldn't have done anything else. Yeah, I'm only on a small green arrow. And normally when you play a bench boost, you expect a proper green arrow. But there are still 10 players to go. Or is it 11? It's actually 11. So I've still got 11 to go when you include Martinez. So anything could happen. I'm not expecting much. I'm not expecting much from Palace. Wouldn't be surprised if Savinio doesn't play. Hopefully Marmoush play, but you never know, he might not. Saka, who knows? None of us do. Hopefully the Arsenal defenders play. I don't think they've got another match for 10 days after the Palace game, so you'd think everyone would play. The only reason Saka might not start is if he's injured, and they do have a decent replacement in Weary, who scored. And anyway, we're going to look at this Content Creator League, and we've got to have a talk about Mark Southerns today. So let's have a look. So this is the totals for this week. Wag is top. Played a bench boost. Oh, hang on. First, we're going to have a look and see who played their captains, what they played them on. So Wag and Mark went Saka. Everybody else went Marmoush except Az, who also went Saka. So 7 out of 10 went Marmoush. Mark Southerns played his free hit, although he didn't play a free hit because he didn't change anything. He accidentally pressed a button for a free hit when he didn't mean to. So next week he's got about 2 players. So he's completely wasted his free hit chip basically by accidentally activating it, which must be easy to do because he managed to do it. So Wag, bench boost, Late Riser bench boost, Car bench boost, myself bench boost, and Harry assistant manager. So still a lot of chips in play this week. So Wag's top. Oh, done it again. Very annoying. I'm very annoying, aren't I? Probably. You're probably shaking your head in annoyance. But anyway, Wag has had a good bench boost. Look, 9 from Henderson. Would have been a bench because she's got rare. So 9, 14, 15, 17 points for Wag. Was looking better 5 minutes ago, but of course Tottenham scored a late goal, killing Williams. But you know, she's got 17 already, and Henderson with another fixture. Enzo and Colwell. It just shows you can just stick random players on your bench and get points, or you can spend hours deliberating what you're going to do and get no points, you know. So that's just the way it is. And you notice Wag, no Man City player. She does not do Man City ever. So she's gone into a double game week with 0 Man City players, and she is currently leading the rankings this week. But she only has about 7 or 8 double game weekers to go, where most of us have got 10. But some of ours might be name only, like Savinho might not play. Some of the Palace ones might not play. You know, she doesn't have Sarr and Eze. They've got an FA Cup game coming up. They might not play midweek. She's got 8 from Kirk Esler, who kind of has outscored the double game week players. Didn't get anything from Evan Nielsen, but her bench boost has at least been successful, hasn't it? Now Mark's in second, but he's only got 3 players. Now let's count his players for next week, shall we? So who's he got for next week? Because remember, he's got no free hit now. So he's got Bowen, Salah. So he's got Bowen and Salah. No goalkeeper because he went with, for some reason he's gone for 2 Villa goalkeepers, which seemed a bit odd to me because either Villa, you know, Villa could have a blank in 37 and he wouldn't have a goalkeeper if they get to the FA Cup final. So that seemed a weird decision. But he hasn't got a goalkeeper next week. So he's got Agbadou and Strand Larsen. So he's got Agbadou, Strand Larsen, Bowen and Salah. That's it. He's got 4 players next week. 4 players and only the 1 free transfer. So he can get 5 out without a hit. So he's completely screwed. Completely screwed by wasting his free, well, not wasting it, but accidentally activating his free hit chip. Then we've got Late Riser, who used his bench boost and made 5 transfers and took a -12, which is probably more than his bench boost is going to get. So this is why I took the minimalist approach and didn't go for all this type of thing. Now look at his transfers. Foden to De Bruyne, quite popular. Palmer to Saka, popular. But then Kusanov to Diaz, Dorgu to Kirill, Murphy to Rodgers, which is popular. But 2 or 3 of these transfers are to correct and take out players that he bought on his wild card only a couple of weeks ago. He bought Kusanov on his wild card, already got rid of him. He bought Dorgu on his wild card, already getting rid of him. So like his wild cards turned out to be a bit of a disaster when he's had to spend untold transfers correcting it after just 2 weeks. So he took a minus 12, so really he's only on 43. Oh, Mark as well had Trossard. That's why Mark's doing well this week. So he got Trossard in, 16 points for him. And only 1 for Saka. But, we're only halfway through, peeps. We're only halfway through. Palace are going to be on the beach. You never know what Arsenal are going to do to Palace midweek. So, late risers wild card. Bench boost scuppered by Areola, 93rd minute as per usual. But he has got 10 on his bench, which isn't terrible, is it, for a wild card? That's the final total, 10. I'd have been happy with 10. But it's still less than the amount of hits that he took, isn't it? Still less than the amount of hits. So Bakar, very similar team to myself, unfortunately, and an exactly identical score to myself so far. I was looking at his team. He's one of the few, like myself, who has Henderson. The only differences between my team and Bakar's, I don't have Evan Nielsen, I have Marteta. I don't have Eze, I have Savinio. And I don't have Konsa, I have Wan-Bissaka, who, such bad luck, Wan-Bissaka, unbelievable. Such bad luck. He has not missed a game all season, peeps. Incredible, stupid game sometimes, isn't it? But like I said, I wasn't going to take hits to change anything. What will be, will be. And I've still got 10 to go, so it should be okay. And I've got the free hit chip next week. So Harry's on 51. He's using his Arteta, his assistant manager. Again, that meant, though, that he could only have 2 Arsenal players. So he missed out. He played Konsa. He would have probably had an Arsenal defender if he didn't have Arteta. So you can take 4 points off. So really it was only worth 8. But they still do have another game to play, don't they? So he's doing quite well with his assistant manager. Joe's having a better week this week. Did a pretty goat move there, Asensio to Rodgers. Asensio should have had a goal, shouldn't he? Open goal. His owners are another group of people, I think, who can count themselves as being extremely unlucky in the last few weeks. Extremely unlucky. He was scoring every week, wasn't he? And now his scoring boots have deserted him. So Fabio, 42. A lot of people made the same transfers, didn't they? Palmer to Saka, Murphy to Rodgers. See that? Palmer to Saka, Murphy to Rodgers. Repeat after me, peeps. Palmer to Saka, Murphy to Rodgers. Not quite the ring of dunk Konsa winks, but very popular this week, those transfers. I nearly didn't do it. I nearly kept Murphy, but, Rodgers has outplayed him, so outscored him. Andy on 42. Not much point looking at these, really, because they're all the same, aren't they? All the same. There are. And this one is actually more the same than more the same. I can imagine there must be literally thousands of this starting 11 this week. Absolutely thousands. That is the template team. Starting 11 at least that I've ever seen. The bench is a bit more differential. which is why there's not too much to worry about, apart from a captaincy in this next round, with the Marmoush and Saka. But actually, the expected ownership on Saka is not actually too bad. If Saka does score and you haven't captained him, it doesn't really, as long as you own him, it doesn't do you much damage. It doesn't do you much damage. I think it's only about 103 or 105% is expected ownership. Marmoush's is a lot higher, so if you haven't captained Marmoush and he goes off, you're going to suffer a little bit. So even people not playing bench boosts have got more points than me this week. Right, I'll show you something funny now, Pete. Something funny on Reddit. We're going to have a look at Reddit. Where is it? Whee, go right up to the top. Right. First off, Leeds and Burnley are officially promoted to the Premier League. Hopefully they turn out to be better than Leicester and Southampton, but Leeds normally are, aren't they? They've got a big following, Leeds, and you can see that their assets are going to be likely to make their way into people's teams, aren't they? They did last time they were up. They had some decent players, Rafinha and a few others. Burnley up as well. Traditionally a lot more stodgy, aren't they, Burnley? But we shall see. They've probably got a different manager now. And then it's probably going to be one of Middlesbrough, Coventry, Bristol City, Sunderland or Sheffield United. Or is that Wednesday? No, I think it's United. So one of them is going to be up. And I suspect if it's somebody like Bristol City, then they're going to be targeted dramatically, aren't they? Just put your captain on whoever they end up playing. So Leeds and Burnley are up. So that's not, they're quite a bit, aren't they? Now, this is funny. This is what we've got to look at this year, because it's absolutely peak FPL and absolutely ridiculous, It's like, it's just like the Wan-Bissaka who never gets injured when you use him on bench boost. It's just like an FPL thing that happens. And people are even triple captaining Saka. And you look at this, look, every single player in the team scored points except for Saka. Basically, keeper, clean sheet. Zinchenko, best of the defenders, clean sheet and an assist. Kiwior, Saliba and Ben White, clean sheets. Marino assist. Declan Rice an assist. And Odegaard an assist. Martinelli a goal. Trossard 2 goals. And Isaac off after 57 minutes with 1 point. I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you? You just could not make it up. Absolutely unbelievable. Incredible. Wood scored tonight. Look, people talking about Wood, making their stupid jokes and plays on his name that you get extremely tired of time after time after time. Right, so Salah. Now, I'll tell you what, peeps, that little prick Salah, when I come up with that Richard III plan and got rid of the prick in game week 29, you lot said I was crazy for getting rid of Salah. It was genius, a stroke of genius, all ruined by Haaland getting injured. Because if Haaland hadn't got injured, Salah would have been gone. And I'd have been flying high up the ranks. Because since game week 29, as I predicted, Salah has gone at the game. He's done nothing. He'd gone at the game before game week 29. He'd still been getting a few points, but he wasn't playing well. Liverpool weren't playing well. And it was a goat move getting rid of him. But unfortunately, goat moves don't always get you goat points. But, and he hasn't even been punished, has he? Because often when people that have gone against Salah, when he's blanked, still haven't done well because alternative captains haven't done well. In fact, captains in general in the last 4 or 5 weeks have been pretty poor, haven't they? Remember Palmer at Ipswich and Isaac. I mean, Isaac got a few points for triple captains, but not a huge amount. And this week with Marmoush and Saka so far, but Salah, since game week 29, has done nothing. Obviously he's been a bit unlucky. He had 7 shots in the box, 4 big chances, and hit the post twice. But that's just what's happening this week for everybody. It's just so here we go with Saka. Same again. 3 shots in the box, 5 chances created. You know, some of those midfielders in that Arsenal team that got an assist probably didn't create half the chances Saka did, but they got points. All Saka gets is 1 point. Nearly got sived down, didn't he? But the only reason, of course, Arsenal got all those points is because Ipswich only had 10 men for most of the game, and even then Saka still couldn't get any points. Crazy, peeps, absolutely crazy. Now, Sessegnon, every season, at the start of a season, we get our Barcos and Nkunkus and all these picks that like people focus on when they're planning a team. Well, this week it's like the start of a season because a lot of people are on free hits and everyone has to try and be clever and find that one player that they think they're being clever in finding. And this week it turns out it's Sessegnon. Everybody's bigging up Sessegnon to give themselves something to talk about. Do you know what I mean? So now suddenly everyone's going to want Sessegnon all of a sudden. Let's have a look. 1.1%. In the last 5 game weeks, he's had 8 shots. Joint first for defenders. 4 on target. Joint first for defenders. 3 big chances first for defenders. 2 goals from an XG of 1.1 first for defenders. And well, maybe they've got a point. Maybe they have got a point. It does seem like he's been doing well there, doesn't it? But he's the new pick for this week, which guarantees he blanks, basically. And as we've seen with Saka and all these captains and Wan-Bissaka, we also know that Ait-Nouri, who everybody's getting in for their free hit chip, is another one who's going to be peak FPL, just like Cunha when he got sent off when we all brought him in. It's Ait-Nouri's turn to do something stupid and get no more than 1 point. Because as we all know, and as we see every single week, this is what happens in FPL, especially the last few. It's just been ridiculous. Just been ridiculous. Someone's got made a new planning tool, developed a team planner. The most FPL season of FPL to ever happen. And this is what this thread's about that goes on every week. It's about all these crazy things that happen in FPL on a weekly basis, like something out of a Twilight Zone, aren't they? So that's about it, peeps. So what we're gonna do now. I came on before and I did a free hit chip for FPL. Hang on, shall we go to FPL review and do a free hit chip for them? We'll have a look on the free planner, shall we? Let's see if we can do it. Where are we? Go back, see what the FPL review wants to do for a free hit 34. Load the page. I think the free model's the same as the other one, except it closes an hour before deadline. So we'll do a transfer solver. We'll make sure. I don't know if it's doing a free hit check. Is this going to do a free hit? We'll do it real quick just to check. Solve. I don't think it is. I don't think it's doing a free hit chip. Why not, peeps? Why not? Let's go back. How do we get it to do a free hit? It's free hit 34. Transfer is infinite. Okay, so it's going to do a free hit chip. Yeah, solve free hit. Here we are. So I don't know why it didn't do it last time. So we'll do it. Give it a decent time, shall we, to do a free hit? I don't know how long it's going to take. Probably about 2 hours, but we shall get on with it. Anyway, peeps, that walking video I did. Thanks for all the nice comments. Because I really appreciate that. That's why I do them. That's why I've got this channel. I'll tell you what. The other day I went on. I didn't even go on it. It just felt like I did. I went up to Wellington, like I said, and the first day I was there, I didn't have anything to do. I was in my hotel room, and I started watching FPL have a beer and Yelena doing a show the other day. And there was like only about half a dozen of us in the audience. Literally only about half a dozen. There was myself, FPL Nightmare, Az was there because Yelena was on, and a couple of other people. Sorry, names I've forgotten. And it was really good, without no talking about other things apart from FPL, like Black Mirror and stuff. And I was typing away, talking to them and talking to Az, and it was just so nice, it was like 2 hours, like a really little intimate little discussion, like just half a dozen of us on this show, and it was so good, and it made me think that it's just so much better than the big faceless sort of shows where you type in a comment and it's not even seen or responded to or anything, and the comments just fly by. And those small channels, it's just so much more enjoyable, and you're kind of part of it. Do you know what I mean? And I really enjoyed that. It was like 2 hours. It was a really enjoyable time. Anyway, peeps, let's have a look at the free hit chip. It's thinking we're going to get 64, nearly 65 points from this team that FPL reviews come up with. It's got Alisson in goal, Sanchez on the bench, I guess, Trippier and Shah, don't know if I like that. Aït-Nouri, Anderson, who's Palace, Forest, isn't he? Scored tonight. Agbadou, old Mark's got Agbadou, hasn't he? Probably where he found him from, FPL review. Salah, Palmer, Kluivert, Diaz, Enzo Fernandez. Isaac, Cunha and Wood. So we're going to have to do better than this, peeps. You've got to try and do a team better than this. So it's a lot different from my team, but I'm going to do now. So we'll go and have a look and see what we can do. Plan. You've all got your own ideas, I hope, and not just going to copy one of the big content creators. You're going to wait and see what Harry does and copy him, aren't you? A lot of you. Well, you won't, because you're only here because you're good sorts. Right, let's have a look. So I will keep Isaac. So if I'd done a mark and accidentally played my free hit chip, this is what I would be faced with this week. And this is what Mark's going to be faced with. Unbelievable, isn't it? Is it that easy to hit the free hit chip? I guess it must be. So goalkeepers, I was going to get in the Wolves keeper, but he's injured, I think. So what I'm thinking of doing is getting Pope, because I want Sri Newcastle. But my worry is that they've played a lot of games and some of our outfield players could be due a rest. He didn't rotate in the game the other day and they got absolutely battered, didn't they? Absolutely battered. He should have done a bit of rotation, I think. So I'm going to put Pope in goal. On my bench, I might put Alisson on my bench. Unless I want to Sri Newcastle. I'm going to get in Trent, because Trent played the other day. Absolutely over the moon when he scored, and his teammates were too. And you could see, any thoughts of him kind of shuffling out the door quietly disappeared with that goal, I think. You could see how much it meant to him. And they could wrap up the title this week. So I think Trent will probably start. Bradley wasn't great anyway. And so I should bring him in. 8 Nori, despite the fact he's going to do absolutely nothing and get 1 point, he has to come in, because if I don't get him in, you won't get 1 point. That's the way it works, peeps. That's the way it works. So 8 Nori. Third one's a bit trickier to find. There's this Sassignon character that they're all talking up. Where would he be? Where would he be? Sassignon. I guess I was going to get Robinson in. Maybe I'll get Sassignon in, because Robinson hasn't done much, has he, lately? Sassignon's been on fire, so I'll get Sassignon in. So that can be my defence. Salah, this isn't final, by the way, but I don't want to spend too much time on it this week. I just I want a nice, safe, popular free hit chip, because not everyone's got a free hit chip. So you don't need to go too crazy on it. You just need to play with a straight bat, and you know you're going to beat people who don't have a free hit chip, basically. Well, hopefully. Now, Newcastle midfielder isn't easy, because like I said, rotation. Murphy came off early, didn't he, in that game the other day? Gordon's back. You'd think Gordon could well play instead of Barnes this week. He hasn't started a game since he's come back, has he? Hasn't started a game since he's come back, but he hasn't looked particularly brilliant, Gordon. But you'd think if he is going to start a game, it's going to be this week, isn't it? So maybe I'll go for Gordon. Maybe I'll go with Gordon. I'll have to look into it and see how I feel nearer the time, but I will be having a Newcastle. I might have a word with Nightmare. He's a Newcastle expert, isn't he? So strikers, we've got who would we want? You've got Visser, better away at Forest. You've got Wood at home to Brentford, and Wood scored tonight. He'd be pretty popular. I want players that are popular, because I don't want to be caught out by anybody getting a hat trick and turning what should be a good free hit into a bad one. Liverpool at home to Tottenham. Obviously a very good fixture for Liverpool, so I think I'll keep Salah. Bournemouth, Man United, anything could happen there, couldn't it? It's not particularly great. I mean, FPL Review wants Clivert in. Clivert's been pretty quiet lately. He's been injured, I think, hasn't he? So I'm not overly enthused with that idea. Wolves, Leicester. Now we want Wolves players. That's what we want. That's what we want, peeps. Where are we? Oh, Jesus, it'd be the last one I check. Oh, where? See, last one. I was on there. I was on there all the time. Right, so you can see my brain's not as crystal clear as it was when I was playing chess the other day. Right, so Marmouche out, Cunha in. Got to get Cunha. He's a given. Now, I've seen a lot of people, well, a lot of FPL Review anyway, what likes Welbeck. Did FPL go Welbeck in this one? No, it didn't actually. It didn't actually go with Welbeck. Cunha and Wood, yeah. Wood's the obvious one, isn't he, really, I think. I don't know about Brighton. Don't know about Brighton. Chelsea home to Everton. Everton, for some reason, are refusing to go on the beach. Refusing. All the other teams are, except for Everton. So they're not going to make it easy for Chelsea. Jackson's done nothing since he came back. Now you've got Welbeck, Pedro. Do we know who starts or whatever? West Ham haven't been awful. No doubt Wan-Bissaka will be back and they'll keep a clean sheet now. He's not on bench boost. Um, Fulham attackers. Muniz might be injured, I think, which would mean Jimenez could be an option, couldn't he? Yeah, that's what I'd do. So I shall put in. He won't even play, of course, because they're on the bench. Could put Strand Larsen on the bench even, couldn't I? Maybe just put Strand Larsen on the bench might be a better policy, just in case Cunha doesn't start. So, midfielders, Salah, Gordon. Do we put Palmer in is a question, isn't it? Do we put Palmer in? He's done absolutely nothing to deserve being put in. Absolutely nothing, really, has he? You could go with Toma. Iwobi. Don't know about Wolves. Leicester are actually playing all right now, aren't they? They've kind of playing a bit better in the last few games. So this is where he's got Cliver. Because there's not... we're going to go for a Forest one, I think. Maybe Ilanga. Although with Wood back, Ilanga's no more... not so effective anymore. So I think I'll go for Gibbs White. Question is, do I get Mbeumo? And the other question, of course, is do I play 3-4-3 or maybe I should play 3-4-3, in which case I might want a different striker. So let's put Gibbs White in, I think. Although they do have a I thought they had an but we're not playing, are they? Are they? Oh, yes, they are, that's right. They kept it in the same game week, the Forest game, didn't they? But it does mean they've got an FA Cup game as well. Yeah, I don't know, peeps. Maybe I should get Waymo in because he's going to be very popular, isn't he? Not so good away from home, but he is in form. And like I said, I want to play this safe. So he comes in. Too many for Newcastle. That's because Livramento has to go. I think I'm going to put Palmer in. Sod it. I put Palmer in. So the only other thing to decide is what formation to play. You know, that's take out Strand Larsen and put in Chris Wood. I don't know the timings. I haven't looked at the timings for Forest game around the FA Cup. So maybe I'll go with that. Take out Savinho and replace him with a 4.5. Let's put in Dunk Conser, Winks. I don't know if Winks has Winks been playing. I don't know, but I'll find a 4.5 anyway. I'll change Wan-Bissaka to somebody. It's quite a long way down the standings, Robinson, isn't he? And I'll take out Livramento and put in Forest defender, maybe. It doesn't cost that much. Anybody basically, 4.5. Can I put in Van Heck? Right, so I'll just go with something like this, I think, which will cost Mark 48 points, but cost me nothing. So free hit, cost me nothing. Right, so something like this: Pope, Trent, Aitnori, Sessegnon, Palmer, Mbuemo, Gordon, Salah, Wood, Isaac, Cunha. I don't know if I've missed anyone out. Who have I missed out that I could put in? I mean, instead of Palmer, for example, who could you play instead of Palmer? You know, you've got the Cliverts, you've got your Fernandez, Liverpool. Maybe a Liverpool midfielder might be better than Palmer. You can find one you're guaranteed to play. Diaz hasn't done much, so has he really? Liverpool haven't looked great. Mitoma, possibly. Not a great start to a bench boost, is it? If he blanks, early kickoff, Chelsea. I mean, he's done nothing to justify. I mean, he's been absolutely hopeless. I mean, you could even say Madueke would be a better option, although he's not guaranteed to start either. I mean, there's the Clivert, but they're Man United. They've got no European game, have they, United? So they're going to be more rested for this game. So it's not an easy game. Not that easy for Bournemouth, this game. So I think I'll swerve Bournemouth. Yeah, I think I'll just go with something like this. Why not? It's got a bit of variety and covers all the main suspects, I think, doesn't it? So I'll just go with something like that. Anyway, peeps, I'm off now. I've had enough. You've had enough. I'm sure you have. And I better get on with my day. It's my first day back. And I'm just pleased to be home, to be honest. Bloody hard work going away sometimes. I did enjoy that walking video, though. I did enjoy. I tell you, I did about 5 of them. And then I went home and collated it all. And it actually took quite a while. But one thing I found was wind, even if it's not very strong wind, but you don't notice, really picks up on the microphone. You know, some of it you couldn't even hear what I was saying. So I had to can all that and go into town. But I think that segment in town, it worked out quite well, didn't it? Going down Cuba Street and that. It was quite interesting. I was going to do some with the beggars. Every single doorway nearly in the city centre, there was like a sleeping bag with someone asleep in it, or cardboard boxes, or whatever. And this is what I thought it would have been really interesting, because people don't associate that sort of poverty in that with New Zealand, do they? And but I didn't want to start waving my camera around in beggars' faces, you know, because it's not very nice, is it, really? And so I didn't want to do all that, but you'd have found it quite interesting, I think, and it would have been a bit of an eye opener for a lot of you about because it's no different from city centres in the UK or whatever, you know, but also got quite a big beggar problem, haven't they? But and it was like early Sunday morning, so there were a lot of people asleep. And even when I went for a walk in the afternoon, there were people staggering about on meth and quite a few sights. There was one guy, he had all his really ripped jeans. He was like quite a big character, and he was like insulting some Asian woman, and like everybody crossed the street to avoid him, you know, and he was like some beggar that was kicking off at somebody, quite violent, and all that was going on Sunday. And unfortunately, none of it made it into the video, but probably for the best. But anyway, peeps, I'm off now. So like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you. You know you want to. And I shall be back once this game week is concluded, because there's going to be there's going to be dramas to come, isn't there? Big dramas to come, and hopefully Marmouche can do something decent and Savinio plays, but I doubt he will. And I strongly suspect that Salah might not play this game. Palace have an FA Cup game. They did pull themselves together a bit though, didn't they, and keep a clean sheet, which was very, with 10 men. which was in marked contrast to their performances last week. So maybe you never know, we may get some more points from our Palace players, but I'm not optimistic. Anyway, talk to you all later, peeps, and bye for now.